Good evening. This is Cab, here to drive you crazy. And again, I am assisted here by Miss Cabby. Oh, look at all the excitement in her face. And this is something that I hopefully will try to do at least once a week from this point forth, which is to share my favorite sports teams and, just to give the updates about them, how I feel like their seasons are going, the up and comings as well, and anything else that I may want to bring up and share. So, first thing that I'll bring up is the Boston Bruins, which is the reason why I'm bringing them up because, as you can see, I have kind of trying to change it up a little bit on what I have appearing in my background right now. But obviously, I have nothing to really display on the Bruins because all of my Bruins items I actually kept back at home. And the only reason why is because, unfortunately, being in the Philippines right now, no one really cares too much about hockey here. And I also wanted just to bring them up because they are one of the teams that has been like the last of my favorite teams that I really became appreciative of. I only really started liking them back from 2011 when they did win, which finally gave like the full, four square effect on all Boston teams having won at least one championship within a 10-year span. And it's been kind of a heartbreak on knowing that we had lost Chara from the beginning of the year, but we still do hold, Bergeron, Pastrnak, Rask, and a lot of new guys who I'm still trying to get more familiar with myself and trying to just see how this season is going to be going. So right now, as we currently stand from the win today, we are now 12-5-2. And with that record, I am pretty happy in knowing that this team has probably had their best start in a couple of years and have really proven that they can, keep up with these other very seasoned teams, veteran teams that have a lot of great players, while the new core has proven that they are willing and able to stick up and continue on with everything that's going to be happening for this new year. The next team, obviously, I'll bring up right now is the Boston Celtics, which, as today's win as well, have an average of 17 and 17 record, where they are 500. And the reason why I'm just like any other Celtics fan right now, if they win, they win. But if they're losing, and the way that they have been losing as of lately, it's been kind of a heartbreak to know that a team that is as talented as it is, with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, he is coming off from an injury, Christian Thompson, we still are missing Marcus Smart, and just without a really good, reliable center, besides, I would say, Robert Williams III right now. Tice has been really good for us. Obviously, whenever we have a big enough lead and we can actually use Taco Fall. But other than that, it's like, it's such a disappointing year to know that we are only a 500 team right now. And it still bothers me to know that a team that has as much talent as they do, who has 2 All-Stars, and just can't seem to be anything better than just average. Good at best, definitely not great to excellent, but at the moment, people are treating them as bad and terrible. So that's as far as I will go too much on the Celtics side, because again, it's the one thing again too was their COVID scare, which happened with, like Jason Tatum especially. He hasn't really been able to get back to that stamina that had really, impacted him, where he had very minimal amount of time to be out on the court to be able to perform. But it is what it is, and that's as much as I will probably go into, at least for the Celtics right now, until I see a little bit more of the play, especially come toward, All-Star break and after. The next one I'll bring up, which is going to be official as of tomorrow, where spring camp is already officially up and swinging for some of the teams, but the Boston Red Sox. And I am so happy to know that we're going to be getting baseball back as well, because baseball is the one that I always say is my favorite sport to watch. And I've probably never mentioned this probably on a video before, but baseball was my favorite to watch, basketball was my favorite to play, and then of course like football was always just my favorite sport all over in general because of how my family was. Look at Cabby, she's asleep. But Red Sox will be starting off their season soon enough. I will have to say, as much as I've always appreciated Dustin Pedroia, I did feel like it was his time to go. Unfortunately, he was just with the team for the last couple of years, where it was lucky if he was even able to get out on the field at all. And obviously, after having such a disappointing year that we did from like last year, where it was already cut back because of, again, COVID. It was cut back from the amount of games that we got to play. And unfortunately, we were kind of injured riddled as well. We didn't have Chris Sale all year. We lost Erod to COVID as well. And we lost Mookie Betts, obviously, from last year, who was our, number one guy for most people. For me, Alexander Bogaerts will always be my number one guy. And, of course, as you can see, I do represent my David Ortiz and Chris Sale jersey right here. And will always have appreciation for everything that David Ortiz has done, and just loving the fact that there's only one thing that will always be like the greatest accomplishment that I've ever seen out of a pitcher, which is what Chris Sale had done for us back in 2017 when he was the opening day pitcher, the All-Star starting pitcher, the World Series starting pitcher, and the last pitcher to pitch, for that last Game 5 when the Red Sox won that World Series. That is an accomplishment that I bet a lot of people tend to forget, and why I hold that dear in my heart to know why Chris Sale's jersey is a very honorable jersey for me to hold. But season will be starting up. We'll see how some of our acquirements, our acquired players will be for us, and we'll go on from that point. And obviously, last thing to talk about, the big number one question mark coming to the New England Patriots: who will be the starting quarterback? As far as I am concerned, I don't have a general preference. I am a fan of the New England Patriots, and never just about one guy. If I can always say that I had a favorite New England Patriots player, it will always be Troy Brown. And a lot of people would probably say, as a Patriots fan, that's a pretty good choice. And a lot of other people would say, who is that? And that's why, for me, you see that I'm representing the Rob Gronkowski jersey. I actually had a Julian Edelman jersey before. I had a Wes Welker shirt. And I only had gotten a Brady jersey to celebrate as one of the mementos that I normally did whenever a Patriot won a Super Bowl. But right now, I guess my only up in the air kind of thought process that I'm going with right now, especially for the quarterbacks, is I want to say we're going to go and get somebody in the draft. I have no idea whether it's going to be Mac Jones, because I hear there's a lot of possibilities that Mac Jones may not even be available come when Patriots are pick number 15. There's an optional thing that I saw that was brought up on like the NFL Network not that long ago, which was talking about how they could probably give up maybe 3 picks, which is their like first round, second, and maybe like the first round for the next year, with the Denver Broncos to be able to get from 15 up to 9. And for me, even that's kind of like a lot to consider, but it's because of obviously cap space and how the money play on that works out. But all things aside, I would not have a problem with Mac Jones. I was never really following too much on Alabama, besides knowing that obviously they're always Alabama. Had shown that he had greater numbers than even like Tua Tagovailoa, and you know, just the kind of season that Alabama had can always prove that, as people want to say, Mac Jones could very much well be the next up and coming Tom Brady, which we'll always just say, okay, sure. But other things I could say is I have no problem if it's, you know, Cam Newton again. I have no problem if it's Jimmy Garoppolo again. I made a crazy theory on saying, watch us draft Mac Jones, and I say if because that's why I said it's crazy, we sign a 1-year deal with like Drew Brees or something like that. You know what I mean? Just get a veteran guy in one last year, put him with a winning system that is the New England Patriots. Hopefully not only just draft Mac Jones, but then get some other good, decent receivers, whether it be drafting or free agency, and just rework everything again to fit what would be more comfortable for Drew Brees. So that's some crazy thoughts, obviously, whether it be Drew Brees, Cam Newton, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, or whoever and whatever quarterback we end up choosing. I will wait until draft to put that as a considerable worry from this point forth. But that's pretty much all I'm going to share. I got this little one right here, all sleepy in my arms. So thank you very much for watching my video. Drop a like if you like the content. Leave a comment for anything that you wanted to share. And of course, for any more videos from me, hit the subscribe button. My name's Cab, and I'm here to drive you crazy. Aloha, God bless, and take care.